Shall I start with Antarjyoti?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Antarjyoti. Antarjyoti. Bahirjyoti. Pratyajyoti. Paratpara. ज्योतिरेव ज्योतिः स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः शिवोऽस्म्यहम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नारायण समारंभात् शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परंपराम्। सदाशिवा समारंभात् शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परंपराम्।
Thank you so much for the lovely prayer. Today we will be sharing our understanding of day 8 and day 9 talks that is there as a part of Tatva Bodha talk series given by Prabhuji. Day 8 will be shared, understanding of day 8 will be shared by Sri Ganeshan and Mati Sajni. And day 9 will be Kanaka and myself. And so, can you go first, Ganeshan, please?
Yeah,
thank
sure.
you.
Thank you. My pranams to Guruji and my respects to all my colleagues. I'll be talking about the causal body today. Causal body, Karana Sharira, is a seed for subtle and gross body, enveloped by ignorance of one's own real nature. This is to say that causal body forgets, visualizes, and projects as per the tendencies ingrained known as avidya. The second portion is called Anirvachaniyam. The causal body is Anirvachaniyam, meaning it is indescribable. It is also Anadi, it is beginningless and has become a part and parcel from time immemorial. This ignorance projects the gross and subtle body, desiring to expand, act, and perpetuate for the results, ending in a cyclic pattern of activity. Causal body is Nirvikalpa, wherein the distinction of knower, act of knowing, and object known becomes dissolved. That is to say that ignorance is universal without distinction. We do not understand that the cause of migration from one birth to another birth is non-recognition of I am Sat. We try to solve things at karmic level without knowing that fire of wisdom is very much required to burn karma. Then Avastatraya, known as Jagrat, Sapna, and Sushupti, corresponding to waking, dreaming, and sleeping states, are looked into. In this process, undue importance is given to the waking state. Instead, we need to look into all the three states. Wake up, he used a very nice expression, wake up from the waking dream, then we are enlightened. Real state is understood to be none of the three states. It is a stage of witness culminating in Sat Chit Ananda. Causal body gets destroyed with knowledge, and all the three states appear and disappear for real life. These three states are known as Vishwa, Taijasa, and Prajna. corresponding to waking, dreaming, and sleep states. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, Ganeshanji. Very nice understanding of the Karana Sharira and the three states of consciousness. You have covered it very well. Let's hear from Sajni also. Sajni ji, please go ahead.
It's really the same, but in different words, I think. Earlier, now we had spoken about the gross and the subtle bodies. Now, in this talk, the karana or the causal body is explained. Now, what is said is that this causal body is really the seed for the other two. That's the subtle and the gross body. But the main thing is that this causal body is ignorant. It does not know that I am Atma. And, whenever there's ignorance or avidya, the substratum is that I am, the substratum is Atma. Okay. Now, the example given by Prabhuji is about avidya, is about the rope and snake. Very often this is given. When that snake, we go through all this fear, etc. But when a light or a torch is put on the snake, then this goes away, and we realize that it's only a rope. In the same way, it is only when we get Atma Gyan, okay, that our ignorance can go. So Prabhuji very nicely says that ignorance is a seed which sprouts into a tree, and our Karana Sharira, the causal body that he's talking about, also sprouts into the other two bodies, which is the gross and the subtle. Okay, so when we have this inquiry, like the snake and the rope I said earlier, when we have this inquiry, then this self-inquiry, then this ignorance goes away. Then of course he had spoken about, the first one was that. Then we have the Sanirva Chinyam. Then we have Anadi. That was very nice about Anadi, that ignorance is beginless. Okay. Whereas knowledge, we start at a certain point. However, though it has no beginning, it does have an end. Ignorance does have an end. And when we are ignorant of our true self, all right, then the Karana Sharira projects the other two bodies, okay? And when these are projected, there is desire inside us. We want to experience life. And this is how the whole thing keeps going round and round and is perpetuated. He also talks about the last one, which is Nirval Kalpa, which is thoughtlessness. Okay, ignorance is common to all the others that we have. But I am Sat. This is something that we need to realize. Okay, when we are just a body, we are limited, we are subjected to karma, desire. There's a lot of avidya, but it is only by Atma Gyan, when we realize that I'm not the body, mind, and intellect, when I realize that I'm pure, when I realize I am Sat, then I can be absolutely free. And this is the freedom we are looking about. So that was all about the causal body, the, this. And then he goes into the three states of consciousness, which is waking, dream, and deep sleep. Now we go through all these one after the other, but what most of us give more importance to is the state, the waking state. Okay. However, all three are unreal. When we wake up from a dream, we realize that the dream was unreal. Okay. And when we go into deep sleep, then the waking world does not exist. In this deep sleep, it's the state in which we experience a lot of bliss. But all these come and go, and anything that changes, comes and goes, cannot be real. So none of these three states are real. What is true is I have to realize the I am, this witnessing, the Sakshi Bhava. And when that I am is really Sat Chit Anand. Okay. And that is Brahman. Now, once we realize that, that is amazing. However, when the Atma, the real self, identifies with the waking body and starts experiencing things through the five senses, then that is the waking state, and that is known as Vishwa. In the dream state, the self identifies with the subtle body, and that is Taijaswa. And when we are in deep sleep, that is prajna. Okay. And of course, this is the causal body. This is ignorance, as we had said earlier. But as I said at the beginning, all of us tend to identify more with the waking state. We are more biased towards it. We have to remember that all these states are not real. They come, they go. And I am the Sakshi. I am the witness of all that is coming and going, all that is unreal. The only thing that is real is I am, because this is unchanging, it is constant, this is Brahman, this is Sat Chit Ananda. Okay, that's it.
So wonderful, Sajni. Wonderfully summarized. I think everything, all the points were very neatly got about. This is ignorance is anirvachaniyam, then anadi and nirvikalpa, and then also in the three states that I am the Sakshi, none of them are true. So thank you very much for both you and Ganeshanji for this wonderful understanding. Do you have any questions, Kanaka, for on day 8 talk for Sajniji and Ganeshanji?
No.
No.
We got doubt only in day 9. So we talk.
Okay, so I will initiate a few questions for the purposes of discussion.
Sure.
All of us talked about anirvachaniyam. We understand that as karana sharira is anirvachaniyam. That means indescribable. In what sense is it indescribable?
Because because it is ingrained so deep in the system that you are not even aware of what it is. Subjectively, you do not know what is that.
Okay, you're saying you do not, because we do not know, it is indescribable. So we can say it is not there. I don't know, no?
Yeah.
You don't say that.
That is describable that way. I don't know is, we can say for sure it is that I don't know. Is it like that? There is a reference to the day 9 teaching to this point. Sajniji, would you like to just say, join with Ganeshanji?
Okay, it's interesting because also it right described. I can't remember now.
No problem. No problem. Just no. Why is it just even for the purposes of understanding? Why is the we all have said it's the sheath of ignorance, karana sharira, body of ignorance, and
Right.
ignorance is anadi is one thing. These three we need to understand: anirvachaniyam, anadi, and nirvikalpa. So just just to get into a deeper level. Ganeshanji, would you like to explore, expand, or even Kanaka?
You can expand.
You see, there is no beginning of
Go ahead.
Anadi means there is no beginning of it.
And that is also Anadi.
Right.
Huh. Yeah,
Anadi is no
Anadi is no
beginning at
beginning.
all.
It is beginningless. Anirvachaniyam is
Yes.
Vachaniyam means description, that which
Cannot
comes under the framework of words or language. Okay. Anirvachaniyam means that which cannot be described, that which does not come under the purview of grammar, language, or words. Vachana means words or language. Anirvachaniyam means that which cannot be described through words. Okay, so
in many aspects of Vedanta, Adi Shankaracharya has been, I mean, he says, neti, neti, he only says not this, not this, not this. But but no words are there to describe it.
okay. See, there is in the teaching of day 8, there is one very nice point made by Prabhuji. All right. It is Anirvachaniyam because it is there. It is there in what sense? We experience ignorance. As an experience, it is available to all of us, isn't it? What is the experience of ignorance? All of what we see. Okay, suffering, joy, sorrow. I suffer, I am joyful, I am happy, I am in pain. All this, everything that we attach to I am, no? I am Vasu, I am this body, I am this, I am 5 feet 10 inches tall, I am 65 kgs. So all of these experiences we go through. So ignorance is available. It is there. As in what sense? It is there, available as an experience in our life. All the experiences.
But he also says, no knower, no subject and object. I don't understand what is it.
So, is it really there?
Yeah, the subject
It's not there.
there.
It is not really there, because on questioning it will go off. Okay?
But you have to question, no? But otherwise it is there.
That is what it appears to be there.
It's okay.
Okay, it appears to be there. That is the key thing. That is why, can you say it is there? How, with what clarity can we describe the one that is there and the one that appears to be there and actually not there? For example, we can describe an apple with a lot of clarity. It is red, this shape, that, this Washington apple, Simla apple, all of that. Because it is there. But what is the nature of ignorance? As an object, we can describe any object, apple, mobile phone, laptop, this own body. As an object, we can describe. But the nature of ignorance is, it appears to be there. And what is the nature of appearance? Like Satya, Mithya, Viveka. The nature of appearance is, it exists for some time, but not all the time. Isn't it? Can we have any clarity for sure on what appears to be there but not actually there? How can we describe what is there and what is not there at the same time? That is why it is Anirvachaniyam. Isn't it?
Because of the changes also. Everything is changing. Nothing is
we cannot say, correct, we cannot say ignorance is there At the same time, we cannot say ignorance is not there.
Not there.
Means neither Sat nor Asat.
Yes. Okay, that is why it is anirvachaniyam. Then we go to the other characteristic. Why does the teaching say that it is anadi, beginningless?
Because we don't know from when. Ignorance, we'll never know. We've always been ignorant. That is why it's beginningless.
Wonderful.
But when there is an end to it,
it has always been there.
But that we can describe. It's not indescribable.
So here it is saying, the teaching, like Sajniji said, that we don't know when the ignorance started. And what is the example given? Or anything, whatever is example, or what is our understanding? How do we get to the truth of this statement in our own experience?
Because everybody has got ignorance.
Not like that, Ganeshanji. Ignorance is anadi, beginningless, correct? And that is like you and Sajniji said, it is, we don't know from when it started. That is clear. Okay. How do we know that in our experience? There is also a logical argument given in the teaching of day 8.
yes.
Yeah. I'm not getting it. I remember.
It's about what's that? There's an example given by Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm not getting
when we don't know it, we don't know from when we don't know.
He was mentioning about similar to quantum computing.
Quantum something, yes.
But I didn't understand really.
Yeah, he is given that, but with quantum computing or physics or anything. But suppose first time you started cooking and you learned rasam or sambar. First time.
Yeah.
Did we know, till we learnt it, did we know how long this ignorance of the cooking was there? Or learning the knowledge of making sambar or rasam was there? No, we only know the ending of it when I cooked it for the first time. So that's why even Sajniji put it very beautifully. There can be, you also said it, Ganeshanji, there can be an end to ignorance, but we don't know the beginning.
Yeah, and then he also said, no, that knowledge we know the beginning.
Correct.
Yes.
Knowledge and ignorance are kind of complementary or diagonally opposite. Knowledge has a beginning, but no end. Ignorance is beginningless, but has an end.
The good statement.
Okay. All right. Then nirvikalpa.
Nirvikalpa, that is thoughtlessness.
Why is it? What do we mean by thoughtlessness in the Karana Sharira?
No modification.
Ignorance is common there, no, in the Karana Sharira. So no thought is possible when we are saying this. Nirvil, I think that there is no thought. That's all. That's what was explained.
Wonderful. Yes, correct. Ganeshanji, Kanakaji. No thought means what?
Blank.
Blankness.
And then he also told homogeneous.
What do we mean by homogeneous? Nirvikalpam.
It is the same for everybody.
Yes. In what way?
Means there's no degree there.
Okay.
It is a sort of frozen state.
No, not frozen.
No. See, if whether my ignorance or your ignorance is ignorance. It's the same for.
So homogeneous in your experience means what?
The same.
How do we experience Karana Sharira?
After we get up.
Hey, no, sir.
Hmm?
No. In which state?
The deep sleep state.
So homogeneous means what?
Like deep sleep is
Okay, what is heterogeneous?
Multiple things.
There you got it. Now,
Like mixture.
are there things in ignorance in the dormant state?
No.
Are
Nothing.
there objects in your sleep?
Nothing.
No.
Who is there?
it
No,
is just
actually, there is no subject.
It'll come in the day-night talk, but Kanaka will get only Prajna is there. There is no world, there is no body. When there is so that state is not broken. What can break it? Only an interruption can break it.
Yeah, only after you wake up.
There is no experience because there is no body and no world experientially.
Right.
Where is it? Where is the body and the world? Where is the mind?
Not there.
Still there.
It
is there in the seed form.
Yeah.
Dormant state.
In the Karana Sharira. That is why it is homogeneous. If there was even one object or one experience, the homogeneity would have got broken. So is it our experience of Karana Sharira that anything is broken? No, isn't it? Venkatji, you want to add anything to this, please? Your perspective?
Yeah, I think this is an awesome discussion. You are really analyzing everything to the tip. So maybe I think the perspective, what I understood is causal body is a seed. It's a seed form. It is like any other seed. You can't figure out when you give you a grain on this, right? A dust, like a banyan tree is a dust. Or you can't figure out is a parthenium or this or that. It's a seed form. Basically, the ignorance in the seed form, and that will manifest, right? When the tree grows, it will manifest as a massive tree. So when it manifests in the real world, it is what you see, right? The world is the complete, the Maya, manifested completely. Now, even our own bodies, right? The waking state, it is full manifestation. So it will go back to seed form every time you're in deep sleep. It will go back to seed form. Prajna, right? Prajna is still ignorant state only because it's in the seed form. Then when you wake up, it will manifest. The closest analogy is that seed form to the other manifestations. Now the point is, when you compare it to the seed form, that's easy to understand. So Mula Agnana, right? Anirvachaniyam, So because this is, you can't, but it is, the moment you give a noun form, it is describable. It is describable even with the negative words. Anirvachaniyam is a negative word. You can still describe it because you can't trace it. The ignorance you can't trace, for, you have born for so many births are gone. You never know how many millions of years it has gone. Cycles have gone. You can't trace it backwards, right? And because the Maya you can't describe, because the Maya has too many variations, and you can't describe it. So it's in the seed form is the best way to describe it. Causal body is in the seed form. And how do I understand this? Right? See, I think earlier in the session, Sat, when we know the nature of Atman, when I understand it and see this seed form, then it becomes more clear. Right? Did we ever, I know this is an information, or have we understood that Sat Chit Ananda state, the nature of Atman, have we understood, can give more clarity to this causal body understanding, right? The way I understood Sat or Chit or Ananda is they apply it again. Vedanta is about the Tattva I need to apply and figure out myself whether I understood right. Maybe I don't know whether we've done this exercise. Sat, even you sit in a darkest room, no senses working. I amness is always with you. That sense, if you can live without thoughts in that awareness, that is Sat. And Chit is I know I exist, is Chit. And the expansive nature of when you sit in the state in an expansive nature, that's Ananda, and that expansive nature is Ananda. So this, with that, when you look at the causal or subtle, these shariras, you will understand the seed form. I had this seed ignorance. I was not aware of myself. That seed form continue to repeat. That seed is the moment you go to sleep. I think it repeats every day, right? Every time you go to deep sleep, wake up, it repeats. That's how I understood this causal body.
Thank you, Venkatji, for giving another perspective. That is very nice. There's only one last, another point, not the last. We say that either the Karana Sharira is the body of ignorance, but it is blissful. Does it not seem contradictory? Can you just explain how it can be both?
Yeah. So when you are in deep sleep,
Venkatji will come back. We'll just.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you
problem.
asked me this question. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry about it. Huh? Yeah. No problem. But we will also discuss this. So this is one point in day 8 talk. So can you just look at it, Ganeshanji, Kanakaji, and Sajniji? Is it not contradictory to be blissful and ignorance? Because even in Avastatraya, deep sleep, we say it is blissful. Even Karana Sharira, we say it is bliss, but ignorance.
Because this, you see, the gross body is at rest, the subtle body is at rest, and in deep sleep, both of them get rest, and you realize the rest after you get up. So it is blissful. That's what I think.
Sajniji, would you?
And then
Are you there, Sajniji? You have to unmute if you're there and open your camera. In what sense, what are we ignorant of? In the Karana Sharira or the deep sleep state?
We are ignorant. We are ignorant of the truth. Whatever it is, we are not aware of the I am presence. We are not aware of Sat. We are not aware of who I really am. So I think that is why we are in the state of ignorance.
Wonderful.
Ignorant of Atma, basically.
Correct. So you see what it does. Though it is very blissful, okay, and I think both Ganeshanji and Sajniji described it, mentioned this point. Okay, that it is blissful, but Karana Sharira is the cause for the birth of other two Shariras, Sukshma and Sthula Sharira, the subtle body and gross body. Isn't it? Now, look at what happens when as we rightly said, we are ignorant of the fact that I am the self. Though there is homogeneity in that state, and it's completely blissful because there is no other. What does because there is ignorance, what happens? Even deep sleep state is not permanent. We have to wake up. Like Ganeshanji said in his analysis, when we wake up, all the miseries, all the rest of the things start due to identification. So ignorance is bliss, is true, but temporary.
Right.
Innocence is bliss is also true, but temporary. Wisdom is bliss, is the permanent stuff. What kind of wisdom? Wisdom of Atmajnana. I am the self. Only that can make bliss permanent or eternal. In that way, all the three states are ignorant states. So the common mistake is I am blissful in deep sleep, so I'll be sleeping. But the person has no jnana. So he has to wake up. It is the very ignorance that makes a person wake up from sleep to waking state. Because then he'll think, oh, I have to go to office tomorrow. I have to go to office tomorrow means what? I identify with the role I play, with the body and mind, with this personality. And that is ignorance only, no? Because I am not identifying with the self. Okay? Would you like to add anything to this? Okay. So let's go. Very nice sharing by both Ganeshanji and Sajniji today on day 8. Kanakaji, will you kindly share your understanding of day 9?
Actually, this point, what you said, no, that ignorance and bliss, they are contradictory. And actually, we wanted to ask you about that only, which you have explained.
This is there in the teaching of day 8, that though it is there, we cannot eternally remain in deep sleep state. Even Kumbhakarna had to wake up. Isn't it?
No, that bliss, what you are talking about in a sleeping state, it is a different type of bliss, and not the type of bliss that real understanding.
That is what he said. No?
Please examine it. Okay, the quality of bliss is the same because it is homogeneous. There is no other in deep sleep.
Yeah.
Bliss can come only when there is Advaita, when there is no other. And we get a sample of it every day in deep sleep, isn't it? So we are given a sample every day by the self saying, okay, this is your true nature. Please explore deeper.
No, what I'm telling also, that particular bliss, what we are talking about, is a stage of an unenlightened stage. It's not an enlightened stage.
Illappa, there is no difference. The only difference is it is temporary.
Oh.
With jnana, it is permanent.
Yes. The bliss of innocence of a small child. How long does the innocent bliss smile stay? 2, 3 years, 5 years. It is temporary. Its quality is the same as long as it stays.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because there is only Advaita there. There is no other. Ignorance, I don't know that I am the body. That's what happens in deep sleep. My body is not there. So I'm ignorant of the self. Even the body experience is not there in deep sleep. So I'm in bliss. Who is there to interrupt the bliss? Either the body must be there or the mind must be there. But eventually, the ignorance that is in seed form will sprout when? In the early morning, when the mind gets active. And say, okay, it's 5 o'clock, I have to get up and do yoga. I have to cook breakfast. I have to go to office. All of these are identifications with the roles. But a Jivan Mukta also will get up every day, but that's another thing. But for us, we can look at it this way. Because Jivan Mukta will get up with the awareness that I am the self. Even during sleep, the Jivan Mukta is aware that this body is sleeping, but I am the self, and the body and mind are going to rest. If we go to sleep with the knowledge I am the self, then we can get up with the knowledge I am the self. But if we go to sleep with the knowledge that I am sleeping, that means what? I am changing. The quote unquote I am sleeps and wakes up. Is it true? No, I am is the same. That is the ignorance. Then we'll wake up with ignorance only. Alva.
Ignorance is homogeneous, and the bliss due to it is also homogeneous.
Yes.
But temporary.
Temporary. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead with day 9 and.
Okay. I just want to
please, Venkatji, go ahead. Go ahead, Venkatji.
Yeah, since the talk about the bliss come up, I'm just tempted to share something. See, the babies are a good hope for someone to be, blissful after realizing the self. Maybe a realized person is a conscious baby. Let's put it this way. Then a baby doesn't know, that awareness is not there. Just that the mind is sort of, manonasha has happened for a gnani. Hence, the bliss is available all the time. It need not necessarily be deep sleep, when the mula gnana is there, it get reflected, because in that state, the deep, the bliss get reflected even in that state, in the seed
Wonderful.
form.
I think you have said it right. The gnani is an aware child or an aware adult.
Yeah, it's a blissful,
Wise
baby.
adult. Yeah,
blissful baby.
Wonderful.
The conscious baby is we want to rewind all our conditions since we are born.
Conditioning.
All
Yes.
the society is given whatever I acquired, everything we will just understand what I acquired and just drop it. I'll become a conscious baby. The great hope, even in the waking state, you will be blissful.
I think wonderful. Thank you, Venkatji, for that perspective also. Conscious baby, wise adult, wisdom of the knowledge of the self. That's what a gnani is throughout, right? Great. Wonderful. Thank you, Venkatji. Kanakaji, please go ahead with day 9.
So now this is about the Panchakosha Prakriya, or the 5 sheets. Human personality comprises of the divine spark of life, Atman, and the 5 layers of matter enveloping it. The Atma is not in contact with them. It's just like a caterpillar in a cocoon or a sword in its sheath. These 5 layers or sheets, the inner one is subtler than the outer and controls, regulates, feeds and nourishes the grosser one. And these 5 koshas help to correct the superimposition of BMI on the self. The 5 koshas are namely Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha. From the order is from the grossest to the subtlest. Now the suffix maya in each of them means modification. Now Annamaya kosha, or the food sheath, it is a product of food. It is born of food eaten by the parents. It grows because of the food it consumes, and on death goes back to the earth to eventually become food. And so this body undergoes a lot of changes. Now the next one, Pranamaya kosha, or the vital energy sheath. It includes the 5 organs of actions, and it has 5 functions, namely prana, which is responsible for breathing, apana, responsible for excretion, and then dhyana, it is responsible for blood circulation and the distribution of food, and then samana is responsible for digestion and the assimilation of food. The last one, udana, is responsible for reverse actions, or you can say reactions from within the body, like vomiting or tears, or even the subtle body when it leaves the gross body after death is also a result of this. Then now all these 5 functions, they control the physiological functions of the body. Now we come to the Manomaya kosha. It consists of the mind, and it consists of feelings, thoughts, emotions, and actions which come and go, never stay. And it operates through the senses. Now Vijnanamaya kosha, it consists of the intellect and the 5 sense organs. It is the highest instrument to logically separate Atma and Anatma. It takes decisions, identity, and helps for discoveries, inventions, etc. Ego is a part of this intellect, causing this mix-up of Atma and Anatma. And the last one, the Anandamaya kosha, or the bliss sheath. Its synonyms are vasanas, causal body, deep sleep state, and deep sleep state. It is ignorant of Atma, but at the same time it is blissful. The bliss experience here has vrittis or modifications, like Priya, that is the happiness when that we get when we are in when we have the thought of the desired object, and then next Moda, when we are in contact or when we possess the object, and the third one, Pramoda, when we really experience the desired object. Now here also there are degrees, and then this happiness, the consciousness is reflected fully in the mind. Now, joy or sorrow is only our thought process, which has to be corrected by not mixing Atma with any of the koshas. Like when Atma, or the self, is mixed with Annamaya kosha, we get feelings like I am healthy, or I am dark, I am beautiful, and so on. That is related to the body. And then when the self mixes with Pranamaya kosha, feelings of hunger, thirst, etc. are felt. Then when it mixes with Manomaya kosha, the doubts of what has to be done, what has not to be done, they come up. And then when the self is mixed with Vijnanamaya kosha, the decision is taken. And finally, with Anandamaya Kosha, the self with Anandamaya Kosha, the mind becomes quiet. It is in total bliss. Of course, still it is temporary. Now, all the 5 koshas are subject to change, and so they are not Atma, the changeless. Self is the knowing principle, and all the 5 koshas are the known principle. Thus, Atma is not any of these 5 koshas. It is not any of the 3 bodies and not any 3 states of consciousness. It stands alone, all pervasive, omnipresent, infinite, eternal, and we can only say that it is Sat Chit Ananda. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanakaji. Lovely, lovely sharing. I have no work at all. Very detailed study you have done on day 9. And thanks you for sharing the whole thing. Actually, the Panchakosha Viveka, Annamaya, Maya means modification, and everything gets modified. That's the key thing. And then also on how actually happiness and sorrow are just thought processes. It is not there in the object, but it is there in the thought process, and then the correction has to happen in the thought process. That's wonderful. So just to again to get this deeper driven down. So what is the purpose of this Panchakosha Viveka?
That I missed out. That the very purpose is to correct the mixing of Atma and Anatma, of the that ignorance. So to know that Atma is different from these that is the purpose of studying the Panchakoshas.
Wonderful. There is one more important thing of Panchakosha Viveka. That is right. That the purpose of Panchakosha Viveka is to avoid the mixing up of the self with the 5 bodies. But through what process? There is one starting point that is required in order to gain this understanding that I am not the body. And this is okay, changeless. That is Atman, the Panchakosha. Sajni, you can also join in, please. All of us are discussing. Now, there is one fundamental knowledge that comes out that enables us to understand that I am not the body through Panchakosha Viveka. I'm not the body means all of this. Yeah. Any idea?
It is something more than change and changeless.
Not more than.
Or different.
You understand that it is change and changeless as one part, correct? But what enables that?
Self is the knowing principle.
Correct. Self is the knowing principle. Self is not the knowledge. So you step aside, you step beyond, and you witness it.
See, self is beyond knowledge and ignorance.
In the beginning, self is beyond knowledge and ignorance. Yes, self is beyond knowledge and ignorance. That was a part of the teaching. Sajni, would you like to share anything regarding this? I think you are on mute if you are sharing.
No. I listen to what you have to say, and after that.
No. Okay, Kanakaji, Ganeshanji, there is one thing.
Yeah.
What? Okay, let me trigger this. Let me trigger this. Now, why are five sheets given? There is a purpose. Otherwise, Adi Shankara is not A dumb thing. And this is there in the teaching of day 9.
Because they are the known principles.
Correct. But there is one fundamental idea that we are missing. Okay. So remember, Panchakosha is 5 sheets. That
Yeah.
means body is modeled as 5 sheets. Okay. Anna, Prana, Mana, Vijnana, and Anandamaya Kosha. So it is being modified. Like you clearly said, all the 5 sheets are modifications.
Yeah.
Okay. The other more this one will come when we understand what do we think of our body as, what do we think of our solid, any object as. For example, the table, laptop,
Gross.
mobile. No, solid.
Oh, solid.
Now, Adi Shankara is pointing out, look, Baba, your body is not as solid as you think. So why will you identify with something that is vague? With the changing thing, yes. But you think it is changing even because it is solid. It is not at all solid because it's not one entity. Even the body is 5 parts, and 5 parts, quote unquote. You can't separate the 5 koshas from each other because they are distributed and intertwined. So once we understand what we see of anything, including our body, is not really solid, it's porous. Okay, it has no solidity on its own. Then you can say, okay, it is changing, I don't have to identify. Okay, the purpose of Panchakosha Viveka is to say that the body is not solid, and therefore I am not the body, I am the witness. Okay, now I'm not the body, I'm the witness is the real essence of Panchakosha Viveka, real purpose. I am not either of the 5 sheets, but we have to, if we understand that the body is not as solid as it appears to be, then our understanding of, okay, I am not any of the 5 sheets becomes clearer. Okay. Then there is, even in the Anandamaya Kosha, there is one thing that we also have to understand. Ananda means bliss, but Ananda also means another equivalent.
Ananta.
Ananta, okay. Ananta, that means limitless. Limitless, without any limitation.
Anta,
Without any limitation. Now, what does limitation do? What does limitation do? This is one last point that we can discuss before we go into meditation.
What is that?
What is limitation to you?
It restricts the mind to think aloud.
Okay, but what is our reaction? I am limited. What? How do I respond to it? How do I react to it?
Then you start identifying with the limited only. Like
wrong identity.
Wrong identity.
And then what do we do? We want to expand, isn't it? Naturally. We want to naturally expand. Because I think I am limited, I want to expand.
So the expansion is restricted.
No. Because of the wrong notion that I am limited, what is the natural tendency of the body and mind? I want to expand because I can't contain myself. The self cannot be contained. As a natural thing, it has to expand. Okay. So what does this mean? Expansion means from the limitation.
That leads to desire.
See, Sajini got it. The need for expansion means desire.
I think at the end he has told this.
Huh.
Avoid
Then
it.
what does desire lead to?
Action.
All that.
Before
No,
action?
in the end only action.
Sajni there he said it.
I
What,
know.
what is the child of desire?
Action.
Don't worry, think, don't try to struggle with the notes. It's okay. Don't.
Yeah.
What is the child of desire?
Karma.
No, karma comes later.
Thought.
Before thought. Now what is the child of thought?
Mind.
Mind itself is thought.
Action.
Correct, action. Very good. Thank you very much, Sajni. And what is the child of action?
Result.
More
Result. And result, what does result have on the mind? Impact on the mind?
Expectation.
No. One more. How does result?
Happiness.
As an experience, how does result get translated into the mind? As impressions, isn't it?
Impression.
Yeah.
What does impressions do? Will it stop there?
No.
It will loop back to desire.
So it continue the whole thing.
It will loop back to desire, more desire.
Yes.
Then more thoughts. Then more action.
Actions.
Then more. This is what is called karma.
The cycle.
Can we overcome karma by remaining in the loop?
Break this cycle.
How do we break the cycle?
Jnana.
Only Atma Jnana will break it.
Atma Jnana.
I'm clear.
Yes. So we cannot get jnana by more karma. We can't solve karma by more action.
Yeah.
We can solve karma once for all by breaking the loop, and that breaking the loop is only from outside the karmic cycle, which is jnana. This is what has been told in the day 9 teaching.
Yeah, I got a small question regarding this. In the Anandamaya Kosha, we are talking about Kriya, Moda and Amoda. What is the significance of this in the Anandamaya Kosha? I am not sure.
Okay, why is that?
Yeah. Why these three things are brought in Anandamaya Kosha? What is the relevance there?
How do we experience this?
Which one?
How do we experience bliss? Do we experience bliss?
Well, we experience the bliss after we get up.
No. Is that bliss? Can we experience bliss? Okay, let me reframe the question.
Yeah.
Okay, we say Atman is Sat Chit Ananda.
Okay.
Ananda is bliss. Can you experience bliss? No, because bliss is your nature. It's the nature of the self. Atman.
Yeah.
Okay, it cannot be separated out. Now, what do we experience?
That existence.
No. We can't even experience existence. None of the qualities of the self can we experience.
Okay.
Okay. The nature of the self is infinite. Can you experience infinity?
Portion of it.
No. The portion of infinity means finite. You can experience finite.
Project the finite to infinity.
Yeah. No. Let's look at it that correctly, please.
Yeah.
Is it ever possible to experience self?
Experience?
No.
Bliss.
Bliss is the nature of self. So we can only... Go ahead, Sajni. I think you were trying to unmute and say.
I said we are the self. So how do we experience the self when we are the
self? So the question, very right, Sajni. We are the self. So what do we experience? This is important for us to understand, because Once we experience, only then we can talk of grades.
So let us say we experience silence.
So we experience the reflection of the self.
Okay.
In the mind. Okay. So one of the reflections, when we experience reflection of bliss in the mind, it is called happiness. It is not full, it is limited. Okay. And that is why there are grades. And there are grades because these instruments of experience have three qualities. It's said in the teaching: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
Okay.
Okay. Tamas is, I only think of it, I have not come into contact. Like Kanaka said, you just think of it. You know, you're not put any effort to get the object. So that is what, Kanaka, you just said.
Priya.
Priya. That means I think of something that I think will give me happiness. Priya, I have not got it. Okay, I have seen a wonderful white shirt in the show window of the ready-made store. My favorite shirt color is white. So I will experience by the sensory contact, a happiness is triggered, and that is Priya. Okay, only the sensations, not even the contact. Then when I get it, it becomes an element of Rajas is involved because I have to work for it. And because I work for it, either I have saved money and then went to the shop and got it, or gone to the online store and got it. There's a result of the effort, it becomes Moda. It's a higher degree because you get a return for your effort and you can actually touch it, feel it, wear it. Okay, you have got it. Sorry, in Moda you have got it. Then when you wear the shirt, especially if Kanaka says you look nice in the new shirt, you will know. Okay, or you only will feel, okay, new shirt. You can. So that is Sattva. You have got it already. You have worn it, and for a few moments your mind is quiet because you are not running after that desire. You have fulfilled that desire, and the fulfillment of the desire is silence. So that becomes actually happiness. Amoda is.
So that is is reflected fully.
So only in silence the bliss gets reflected fully as joy, happiness completely.
But in deep sleep state, Vasuji, all these things are not there, no? Priya, all these Priya, Moda and Amoda are not there in the deep sleep state.
Yeah,
no?
this is to the waking state. This is for the Vishwa.
What relevance it has got on the
Anandamaya
Kosha? That's what I'm asking.
Where?
What is the relevance of these things in the Anandamaya Kosha?
In the Anandamaya Kosha?
Yeah. Okay, it's coming under Anandamaya Kosha, all these three.
That's okay. He's talking. It gets from the bliss of the Anandamaya Kosha gets reflected in the mind. Anandamaya Kosha is bliss only.
No. What he's asking is, all these are related to the waking state, we said, no? So how does it come in the deep sleep state?
Okay, the only thing I can think of right now is because the deep sleep gives rise to the waking state and the dream state.
Okay.
Okay, and when it gives rise, there are grades. Tamas, Rajas, because of the three gunas. Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. Okay, that is. But however, I think we can pose this question.
Yeah, it's not very clear.
To Prabhuji.
What I'm trying to say, Vasuji, is like this. Even the Sattva business you are telling now, that is okay in the waking state, everything is acceptable. Means you think of the object, you get the object, you put the study, everything comes under waking state. Okay, that experience is stored in the deep sleep state. Is it that one which is being referred to here? I don't know.
I'm unable to actually comprehend that question. We can have a more detailed discussion. But however, this is what I understand.
Yeah.
But I will ask, relay this question to Prabhuji, and we'll see what answer we get.
Yeah.
I can't. I do not know beyond this.
But I like that Sat principle. I like that particular example is very fine. The only thing, the relevance of these three states, these three Moda, Priya, Moda, and Amoda in Anandamaya Kosha, I just wanted to. That was not very clear.
Okay. Understood. Okay, I think we will just, what we'll do, we will quickly say the closing prayers and we'll end the recording, and then we will go into meditation. We can check with Venkat quickly if we can share his perspective for 2 or 3 minutes. Venkatji, before we close the recording, would you just like to, before we get into prayer, would you like to share briefly 2 or 3 minutes any other point of view on the discussions? Or
yes, I think this is pretty detailed discussion. This team is really ahead of probably anybody else. See, Panchakosha Viveka, again, this is the teaching is given, that Shruti is given. Shravana, we heard that truth in the Tatva Bodha given by Shankaracharya. Then Manana is happening right now, right? Manana is happening as we speak. So how do we understand or recognize? So understanding, let's apply it. I'm an engineer, so apply it. You take, let's take away, let's not apply it to the body. Let's look at a mobile in your hand. There is the hardware.
Venkat, if you can you open your camera?
Yeah,
people may like to just see
no,
you.
I'm sitting in the ground. You can't see my face.
Ground. Okay, no problem. Okay, you can close it. No problem. Thank you.
So, take a mobile. The hardware is the Annamaya Kosha, the hardware portion. Then there is a battery powering it is the Pranamaya Kosha. And the programs running, the applications running is the Manomaya Kosha. Deterministic, behavior, the determining behavior is still getting, today there is a research going into that. AI, artificial intelligence, other means are getting there into Vijnanamaya Kosha. So that is the science. Basically, you can look at this whole equipment, Sharira, what I'm wearing is an equipment, and the Jiva is installed in it. Let's understand that's number one. And Sat Chit Ananda. Now we need to understand, a lot of these questions come up in the session today, can be dissected by applying Sat Chit Ananda where it is getting reflected. Okay, let's take the simple ones. Sat, I amness. I amness, you know that, right? I amness, you can recognize it. Okay, when you apply it to the body, you can experience it. I amness is a recognition. Sat. Okay, I know I exist. That awareness. Where are these three getting reflected in this panchakoshas? End of the day. That's how we study this, right? In the intellect, I getting reflected in the intellect. The I thought comes, right? The I thought comes in the intellect. That is a reflection. That's number one, first reflection, right? Awareness getting reflected again in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, you can contradict me on this after this. Then there is bliss getting reflected in the Anandamaya Kosha. Okay, let's study this. I know that I am. Arivu, Iru. There is the equivalent word in Kannada. If we can, that's a better word because this awareness, consciousness is confusing. Arivu, Iru means I exist. Arivu means I know I exist. these two getting reflected in your intellect. That's a closest, right? It's reflected in the intellect. Now, bliss is getting reflected in Anandamaya Kosha. Even now, when we speak, you eat a jalebi, mind stops. Then it's the reflection is available in Anandamaya Kosha. Okay. Hence, mind or an intellect recognizes. After that, it gives. Moda, amoda, all that is in conjunction with the intellect. Recognizing, oh, I'm happy. It is the combination is working there to recognize moda, amoda, pramoda, because I get it, I don't get it. All that is the emotion arising out of the post facto. In reality, when you eat jalebi, your mind is silent. It gets reflected in Anandamaya Kosha. Because it is not too long, right? After that, one jalebi is over. I want to eat one more jalebi. The next thought comes. Your indulgence will break that loop. Otherwise, it is continuous. So even in the waking state, that you can recognize that bliss getting reflected. Okay, Sat, Chit, Ananda, these are getting reflected. That's the nature of Atman getting reflected. And somebody, I think Rajaniji, I think she said, his self is beyond knowledge and ignorance. Right? Because this equipment is having this reflection, I'm able to analyze it. Right? I'm able to analyze it just because it is getting reflected. These three, this is the nature of Atman, is reflected in this equipment. Hence, I'm able to analyze. That post facto reactions, moda, pramoda, all that, because in conjunction with the, intellect, I analyze it. Mind and intellect, we analyze that those emotions arise. Hope I'm clear. So that's how we analyze what is the truth told through manana. Once the truth is totally understood, you stay in that truth. That is nididhyasa. This is the process I understood. Hear the truth. Shruti gives you the truth. Tatva Bodha is the Shruti. It will give you the truth. Manana, understand, reflect, analyze deeply, apply. Once all the doubts are gone, get into nididhyasa. Okay.
Great, Venkatji. Great, Venkatji. Thank you so much for the great thing. Okay, let's give our pranams to Venkat for joining with us today. We will close with a closing prayer and then stop the recording and do the meditation. Okay, Sajni ji, can you please go ahead with the Asatoma Sadgamaya and look.
Yes. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Basuji, why don't you do the Loka Samasta?
Okay, thank you. Do that. The other wonderful prayer, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am pure consciousness, I am Shiva, Shivosyaham. I am pure consciousness, I am pure awareness. Nanu, nanembudu, nanalla, ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ, ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದಾತ್ಮ ಶಿವ ನಾನು ನಾನೇ. ಲೋಕಾಃ ಸಮಸ್ತಾಃ ಸುಖಿನೋ ಭವಂತು. ಲೋಕಾಃ ಸಮಸ್ತಾಃ Sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Let's remain with our eyes closed. We will chant Mrityunjaya mantra 3 times to send our loving thoughts and prayers to all those who have been inflicted with this coronavirus. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritaat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritaat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritaat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.